The term apartheid is defined in the Afrikaans dictionary as a political movement in South Africa that was based on the principles of differentiation by race and the level of civilization, as well as the maintenance of separation of these different color groups. The word apartheid is Afrikaans for apartness, the goal being to have these separated racial groups dwell and develop apart in designated locations. (1940s) Anti-Miscegenation Act. This act prohibited marriage and sexual relations between whites and non-whites. This act prohibits sexual relations between persons who are socially recognized as belonging to different racial groups. 1950s, the Registration Act. Each person's racial identity had to be established and recorded. This information was recorded in a passbook, which needed to be carried by people of color all the time. In order for people of color to enter into a white person's area, they needed to prove that they had access into the area by showing the passbook to local white policemen. (1951) The Bantu Authorities Act. This was the instigation of homelands, designated locations for the residence of Africans organized by origin. 1953, the Public Safety Act and Criminal Law Amendment Act. This act gave all state security power and decisions in the hands of the Bureau of State Security. This meant that any act that was seen as a threat was allowed to be treated with brute force and violence. The government was allowed to declare states of emergency, and protests were handled with an extreme amount of violence. (1976) The Soweto Uprising. People in Soweto riot and demonstrate against discrimination in Afrikaans, the language of whites. The police react with gunfire. 575 people are killed and thousands are injured and arrested. Protesters against apartheid link arms in a show of resistance. (1980s) Hundreds of thousands of Africans who are banned from white-controlled areas ignore the laws and pour into forbidden regions in search of work. Civil disobedience demonstrations and other acts of protest increase. Late 1980s, countries around the world continue to pressure South Africa to end its system of apartheid. As a result, some of the segregationist laws are reversed. For example, the laws separating whites and non-whites in public places are relaxed or repealed. 1991. South Africa President F.W. de Klerk repeals the rest of the apartheid laws and calls for the drafting of a new constitution. 1994. Elections are held. The African National Congress, representing South Africa's majority black population. Nelson Mandela, the African National Congress leader who had been jailed for 27 years for fighting against apartheid, is elected president.